Good times at everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. And yes, today we are talking about Tin Hearts Toy Soldiers. I was supposed to do a podcast episode of this alongside The Last Worker, um, but unfortunately, I didn't do it until now. Um, finally catching up to a lot of my podcast backlog that I was supposed to do. But anyways, but yes, here on the podcast, we like to play the trailer first and then talk about the game. So without further ado, let me play the launch trailer.
It wasn't my intention to mislead you. I never should have feel this way. What can I say? It's true, I did extend the invitation. I never knew how long you'd stay. When you hear temptation come, it's your heart that takes the fall. Won't you come and play with me? Step by step, heart to heart, left, right, left, we all fall down like toy soldiers. Bit by bit, torn apart. We never win, but the battle wages on for toy soldiers. Step by step, heart to heart, left, right, left, we all fall down like toy soldiers.
And that is the launch trailer. Wow, there's a lot to say about Tin Hearts because Tin Hearts is absolutely uh an an interesting game. So for those who don't know, this game is a Lemmings puzzle style game. With a narrative. The narrative isn't anything to write home about. It is a really good narrative. I'm not gonna lie, it's a really good narrative, but it's nothing to write home about, especially once you start putting two and two together and you're like, okay, the story is really predictable. But it's still a feel good's journey to go on. Um the way they present the story and how they use the music and the dialogue that's there is absolutely incredible. So what is a lemming style puzzle? Well, I never even heard of the term until I played this game, and this game is from Wire Productions, from the developer Rogue Sun. I am a Wire Productions content creator, and for those who watched the Let's Play, yeah, that game. That game that made me almost rage quit at the basement and just the complex puzzle design, which we are going to get into. So, but anyways, what is a Lemmings puzzle? Well, Lemmings was a game released in 1991. It's a puzzle strategy video game developed by DMA Design and published by Psygnosis for the Amiga. And basically, it's the best way to explain it is if you have an objective where you need to get a certain number of things from point A to point B, then that's what you need to do. So basically, imagine you have to get toy soldiers in this case across a log from point A to point B, then that's what you need to do. Sometimes the puzzle can kind of let you through even if you are missing one or two. The basement is unfortunately notorious for a potential break, where if you're trying to perfect each puzzle, yeah, good luck, because there is a chance that that might happen in the basement area. But that's basically the objective, is to getting your 10 soldiers from your toy soldiers from point A to point B, and progressing through the story as you get to know more about uh this world famous toy maker, and this and his essentially his whole life. Um and as I said, the story is nothing to write home about, but it's still a feel good story. The soundtrack makes it. r- r- The soundtrack and the way they pace the story is really good. Um, and at times very emotional. So pumps on that, but again, something to write home about. Um, the gameplay design though is something I want to talk about, because the gameplay design is going to be the thing that is going to make it or break it with a lot of people. So as I mentioned, this game is a Lemmings style puzzle game, where you have to send your soldiers from point A to point B in the puzzle room. Well, unfortunately, and as you anticipated, if you ever play Portal, then you know that these puzzles get more complex as the game goes on. It gets really complex right out the gate when you hit the backyard. Like, oh my god, you have to essentially watch a walkthrough, because there's no real perfect real reset. The only way you have to reset it is by basically restarting the level again, or closing the toy box, which resets all the toy soldiers, and you have to do the whole thing again. And then once you get into the basement, that's the game. That's where the game really freaking takes off, and it takes off in a neck breaking kind of way, where it just doesn't. You look at the game, you're like, is this the same game that I saw? Like, I understand, like, yeah, puzzle games are supposed to get complex and difficult over time, but wait, what? Why is this? What is this basement? What are these basement levels? And on top of that, this game does commit a sin, where unfortunately they do bring in new mechanics and then they suddenly just discard them. Not until it's very convenient, which is like the majority of the game. Like, there were some mechanics, like, bro, I didn't even know half of these mechanics were still even in the game until we got out of the basement. And I wanted to toss my desk. And I just want to throw my PC out the window, because I'm like, wait, what? Why on God's green earth did they do that? Like, why did you put stuff down for us to use and then just take it out and then not use it again until like two-thirds into the game, one-third in the game, or whatever? And on top of that, when you look at some of these puzzles, you see the simplicity and you're like, okay, just do this then. No, 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 no. They want you to, again, do it like a Lemmings puzzle, which is a complex puzzle by design. I akin it to a I forgot what the name of it was, but basically it starts a chain reaction. You do one thing and it does another thing and does another thing and does another thing, and my mind went there several times, but then apparently the whole way freaking through, it's an action. It's just wow. Like, if you look up the Wikipedia for Lemmings, Lemmings, and, well, the video game Lemmings, you'll see an image, and that's basically what you have to kind of encounter, a gameplay image, where they're like digging through the rock, and it looks like they're going to get crushed by the rock, and then you have to find some way over the rock. That's basically what it is. And I'm not sure people are gonna stick with that. I'm sure people are not gonna stick with that. Especially, like, man, I do not want to be that person who wants to try 100% it, because if you try to 100% it, oh my god, you are gonna absolutely lose your ever loving mind over this game. Again, it's a great game. I like complex puzzle games, but the complexity has to work in a way where I don't look at it and go, I know you're trying to I know you're trying to be a Lemming style game, but if you just do it like this, it would be 10 times better. But again, they're doing something different here. And 9 times out of 10, you are gonna see a lot of these puzzles that don't make any sense. And stupidly enough, and again, it goes to the pacing of the game. I want to say that it goes to the pacing of the game. So if you go into particular rooms or whatever, puzzle rooms, and you're like, wait, what's this room? You're gonna come back to it. You're gonna come back to it, and and yeah, so there's no DLC for it. You can go back into these rooms anytime to get 100%, which is nice. But I will not be surprised if you try to do that. Like after you finish the game and roll the credits, you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna either give it a like or just like move on, which is totally fine. Like I did that. I absolutely did that. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give it a like, semi critique, and move on. Because if because I don't want to be angry at this game, but at the same time, I kind of do want to challenge. I do kind of want to call out on some of the instances where some of these designs don't make sense, even for a Lemming style game. Maybe I need to play more Lemmings games. I said in the Let's Play of the series, maybe I need to play more Lemmings games to understand that type of puzzle. But what they have here is either gonna drive away even the most hardcore puzzle gamer, or it's gonna have those hardcore puzzle gamers embrace this game, and rightfully so. I think it was also on VR a long time ago before they made this into a non-VR game, but I could be wrong. No, actually, it is in VR through and through. But it's also you can also have the option to play it not in VR, I guess. But yes, anyways. 10 Hearts on Steam is worth $19.99, and if you enjoy again, complex puzzle games, then I recommend it, but again, exercise caution. And if you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, then leave a like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. But if you're listening to this on Spotify, then feel free to like, share the podcast episode, do all the things, and then I'll catch you on the next episode of the podcast. Bye bye. Have a good time zone.